The next pose I'm going to break down is the crow pose, and crow pose is really a very foundational movement when it comes to handstands. It's probably one of the easy ways of being able to learn to balance, and the main reason for that is because your center of mass is significantly lower down to the ground than you would be if you were actually in a proper handstand. So it is more accessible, but equally I've talked to people who've been in some of my yoga classes and they've asked me how do I be able to learn this, Elliot, and one of the main things is still fear around hitting your head, and that's one of the things I'm going to break down first of all in this video. How can you get over that without just diving into the pose and worrying that you're going to bang your head or something, which the worst thing that's going to happen, honestly, is literally just you do this and you're like, oh, hit my head. And might mess up your hair, which could mean a bad hair day, but I'm going to take you through a few things that you can do that's going to make this easier for you. So if you're at home, you can use a pillow or cushion or something like that as well. Alternatively, I've already got some blocks here. So I'm going to set some blocks off. Start relatively high, I would say, and you can always work from there. And we're going to have our hands about shoulder width apart. We're going to place our knees onto the elbows and lean forward and down. So here I'm aiming to create a triangle between my hands and the blocks that are in front of me. I'm leaning forward and I'm going to place my forehead on here, and you may just stay here for a while with just one foot on, or maybe even both, but you're just aiming to lean forward until eventually you can take the weight off. Now with this pose, I would suggest build up to getting about 15 seconds. At around 15 seconds, you're going to be a lot more comfortable with actually holding the pose, and over time you can reduce the amount of blocks that you've actually got, so you're getting a bit further down to the ground. But the reason I say have 2 blocks is that, or a little bit higher, is that it's going to a lot better simulate what the actual position is. It's very easy to get too far with your head down. If I take one block off, so your head's too far down, you're almost holding like a headstand, which we'll come to, but it's not particularly like the version that we're trying to get here. We're trying to really teach you how you can balance with your hands. Start with, we're going to keep our head on the block, and let's say you've got 15 seconds now and you're comfortable with that. We're now going to go to the next step, which would be, again, you get your head on the block, you're bouncing, and I'm going to push through my fingers to push myself down. Don't worry about how hard it is that you're pushing, you just really want to ground into your fingers to really try and push yourself back down. And essentially what we're going to do from here is we're going to try and pull ourselves back to the floor with each passing step. So I'm going to get into the pose, push through my fingers, come back down. I can take a block away, I'm going to put my head on the floor, push. Now, as you do that over time, you'll be able to have more and more control. And really, the key thing is, first you do it, you'll come straight back down to the floor as you push. But you want to be able to slowly but surely make it so that you can actually hold there for a second or two. And just getting that comfort of actually being in a position, I find moving between these 2 positions, which are both very safe positions, allows you to get a little bit of a feel for the actual position. As you do this, once you've got within between these 2, you should feel a lot more comfortable to actually be able to attempt the pose. You also have built a lot more adaptation, I would say, more than anything, of having your knees on your elbows, which can be a bit uncomfortable the first couple of times that you try it. And by that point, I haven't got a friend with me right now to help me film, but really you'd want to be able to have your head on the 2 blocks, and then you could have a friend take it off, or you can push slightly through your fingers to come off the blocks, like so. Here, you definitely want to work towards getting a good 20 seconds worth of crow pose, and maybe even 30 seconds. Once you get over 30 seconds, you're really just building endurance, and there isn't a huge amount more benefit that you're going to get from holding from 30 to 60 seconds. Like, there is some, but not major. Once you get to 30 seconds with this exercise, I want you to take it to kind of to the next level. That next level is that you're going to be moving around while you're in the position and just getting more of that instability feel in there as well. To do this, by now you should be relatively comfortable with crow pose. You get into the pose, And I want you to move left and right and forward and down. You may end up winding your head, but you can push back and just have a play around with that kind of position. Build that more instability. Another thing that you could try as well would be to get some kind of parallel or push-up bar, or maybe do it on grass. Just do it on kind of different surfaces you're not used to. I'm going to try down doing it on blocks. I haven't tried doing it on blocks for ages, but you got to try something new each time. Now got one on blocks, one not, and just trying to find that like instability I've got there. That is crow pose. As I say, really want to be able to build for 30 seconds, but it's a real foundational pose that you're going to be able to do. And one of the crucial aspects of it is that clawing through the hands. Clawing through the hands, you really want to be, start with just pushing through the fingers and also the palms. As you get more and more adapted, you get much more ability to push through the palms. To start with, I really want you to just push with everything you can. When you're first doing these kind of movements, as we'll go onto the wall very shortly, you really want to be trying to push with everything you've got, essentially. You almost have to over-exaggerate the movement in order to be able to do what you want to. Especially as you get upside down, it's very difficult to understand what you're doing. So if you over-exaggerate the movement, you're much more likely to actually turn out where you want to be in the first place. So there's some tips for crow pose, and we're now going to be going against the wall.